Thank you for viewing this webinar on creating sequence alignment projects in NextGENE software. We'll discuss importing references and setting up your projects with either the NextGENE Project Wizard or the AutoRun Tool. This general workflow can apply to any sequence alignment-based application. Many projects will require importing a pre-indexed reference genome from our FTP server. This is needed for any genome larger than 250 megabases, including the human genome. These references are in an indexed format, which allows for a fast alignment to the very large reference sequence. To import, go to Tools, Reference and Track Manager. On the top left, the current storage path for references is shown. Since references can take up a significant amount of space, you can change this to a different location with more available space if needed. To do so, click on the gear icon at the top right and choose Set Storage Path. Then browse to and select a folder for your reference storage. You can also create a new folder in this location for storing your references. Next, click Import Reference to open the SoftGenetics Reference and Setup Wizard. Click Next. Confirm that MySQL is installed and running. If only green text is shown, then you are all set to proceed to the next step. In some rare cases, if you see any red text on this page, you can contact us at tech_support@softgenetics.com for assistance. Otherwise, click Next. In most cases, you will be downloading the reference from our FTP server. Click List to view the list of available references. Scroll to and select the reference you wish to import. If the FTP connection is not permitted by your institution's security controls, references can also be provided in ISO format through an HTTP download or on a DVD sent by mail if needed. Contact SoftGenetics to obtain the reference. Click Install to begin import. You will be shown a message indicating the space needed for the reference and the space available in your reference directory. Ensure that adequate space is available and click Yes to proceed. This import process can take an hour or longer due to the large file size. A completed message is shown in the dialog when the reference has been fully imported. Click Close to exit the dialog. There are two options for creating projects with NextGENE. The Project Wizard provides a step-by-step workflow where settings can be quickly and easily adjusted. The AutoRun Tool provides an automated option to create projects in batch using pre-saved settings files. We'll first discuss creating projects with the Project Wizard. When NextGENE is opened, the Project Wizard is automatically displayed. On the first page, the Application step, select the instrument type based on the instrument that was used for sequencing. Next, select the application type based on the type of analysis to be performed. And lastly, select the steps to be used. Sequence condensation is a proprietary feature to increase read lengths and reduce error rates. This is recommended for shorter read sequencing, 75 base pair reads and shorter, and can generally be skipped with the longer read lengths now available. Click Next to continue. On the second page, the Load Data step, sample files and references are loaded. The sample files can be loaded in FASTA or BAM format. If you are working with FASTQ files, click Format Conversion to open the Format Conversion tool where you can convert to FASTA format and also quality filter the reads. Click Load to load your sample files. Load files for a single sample only. To load BAM files, select BAM from the File Type drop-down menu. After a BAM file is loaded, a new option for realignment is shown. This option can be selected to load the reads from the BAM file and perform a new alignment. Or you can deselect this option to skip alignment and use the alignment from the BAM file directly. After loading your sample files, next you can load your reference. Click Preloaded to select a reference that you've imported through the Reference and Track Manager as described previously in this webinar. If you need to import a new reference, you can click Manage References to open the Reference and Track Manager. Otherwise, select your reference and click OK. You also have the option to load FASTA or GenBank format reference files for small regions less than 250 megabase pairs by clicking Load. The output directory is set by default to the path where the sample files are located and is named by adding Output to the name of the first sample file loaded. Click Set to make any changes to the output path as needed. Then click Next to go on to the next page. The next page is the alignment step. Here you can define the settings for alignment and variant detection. We'll highlight some key settings on this page. Additional settings details can be found in the user manual, which can be accessed through the Help menu of the software. The settings in the top section are all related to how the reads will be aligned. The alignment is carried out in two steps. First, the whole read is considered. Reads are compared to the reference to find perfect matches, and then matches with a number of mismatched bases up to the number specified in the allowable mismatched bases setting. Remaining reads are then processed using seeds. You can specify the seed size and the number of bases between the start of the seeds. Reducing the seed size can generally increase the alignment time, but may allow the alignment of more reads with mismatches. You can also set a minimum matching base percentage requirement. This is the percentage of bases within a read that match to the reference. The Detect Large Indels setting can be selected to improve indel detection for indels up to the size of the read length. With this selected, a local realignment is performed in regions where an indel is found. Including this step does lead to an increase in processing time. The settings in the middle section under Mutation Filter define the thresholds for variant detection. Separate thresholds can be set for each mutation type: SNPs, indels, and homopolymer indels. The mutation percentage is the frequency of the variant in the aligned reads. The SNP allele count is the number of reads with the variant, and the total coverage count is the total number of reads at the variant position. Under File Type, near the bottom, if paired end sequencing was performed, select Load Paired Reads and input the library size range used. The next page with the post-processing settings is an optional step. So at this point, you can click Finish to begin processing the project, or you can click Next to proceed to the post-processing settings. On the last page of the project wizard, the post-processing step, you can specify reports to be automatically saved to the project output folder. Select each report to be saved from the drop-down menu. For each report selected, click Set to load a settings file for the report. You can also save multiple versions of the same report using different settings. The report settings files can be saved from the NextGENE viewer within each report's respective settings dialog. Select Save Summary Report to also save a summary report PDF including all of the selected reports. You can select Export BAM to export a BAM file containing the alignment results. For Geneticist Assistant users, you can select Output to Geneticist Assistant to have the NextGENE results automatically imported to Geneticist Assistant. You can click Save Settings to save all of your settings from all pages of the project wizard to a single settings file. This file can be loaded at a later time to repeat an analysis with the same settings. This settings file is also used with the AutoRun tool, which we'll discuss next. Click Finish. You can click Run to begin processing, or you can click Create More Projects, New Project to reopen the project wizard to set up another project. The AutoRun tool provides a quick and easy method for setting up batch processing. This webinar will provide an introduction to the AutoRun features. You can find a more detailed discussion of this tool in the Creating Projects with the NextGENE AutoRun Tool webinar. you can open the AutoRun tool from the Tools menu. To start, open the AutoRun settings by clicking the Settings icon. Set the job file detecting directory. This is the location where you will be saving your job files created by AutoRun. Click the Browse button to browse to and select the location where you will be saving your job files. Click OK to close the settings dialog. AutoRun works with job files where the sample, reference, and settings files are defined. You create the job files with the Job Editor tool. Click Tool on the AutoRun toolbar to open the job editor. Click Load to load your sample files. With AutoRun, you can load multiple samples and then later group them into individual jobs for each sample. You can also load files in the raw FASTQ format, as the format conversion step can be included in the job. Next, you can load settings for any pre-processes. This includes any format conversion, barcode sorting, or sequence operation steps, including trimming and/or duplicate read removal. Next, load your reference. Click Select to choose a preloaded reference. Under Process and Report Settings file, click Load to browse to and select the settings file saved from the project wizard. You can select Output to Geneticist Assistant to output the NextGENE results to Geneticist Assistant software. You can enter a run name and modify the sample name if needed. You can save all of the settings loaded together as a template to quickly create jobs with the same settings in the future. Click Save next to the template field, then enter a name for the template and click OK to save the template. The template can then be selected from the Template drop-down menu when creating future jobs. If files for multiple samples were loaded, click Group Samples into Jobs icon, or go to Edit and then select Group Samples into Jobs. Once all of the jobs have been added, click the Save icon or go to File, Save Job File to save the job file in NG job format to the job file detecting directory as specified in the settings. Click OK to close the job editor. To begin processing the job file, click the Detect icon or go to File, Detect. When detecting begins, AutoRun will check the specified directory for the job file. Then each job in the job file is added to the processing list. Each job is processed consecutively, with the AutoRun log displaying the progress. We've now covered the information you need to start creating sequence alignment projects with NextGENE, from first importing a reference to setting up the analysis with either the project wizard or the AutoRun tool. Keep in mind, more details for the AutoRun tool can be found in the Creating Projects with the NextGENE AutoRun Tool webinar. Thank you for viewing this webinar on creating sequence alignment projects with NextGENE software. If you have any questions, please contact us at tech_support@softgenetics.com.